Good evening and welcome to the Masheleng Money Podcast, where we discuss issues surrounding financial literacy. I'm Nelo Mukhodzi, and on today's episode, we're discussing product marketing and mileage derived from engaging online influencers with Mr. Jaconia Malunga. Mr. Jaconia Malunga is a seasoned professional with knowledge in research, regulations, economics analysis, market intelligence, and he's also an author. He holds a master's degree in business administration and economic degree from the University of Botswana. Tune in.
Thank you and welcome to yet another episode of Masheleng Money Podcast. Today we're discussing product marketing. And this is derived from, we have a lot of influencers online. How do you pick influencers online? We are talking business today. We are talking innovative ways of doing business going into the future. And in helping us in that conversation, we have Mr. Malunga. Mr. Malunga, thank you so much for joining us at Masheleng.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm honored to be on this show.
Wonderful. Mr. Malunga, before we start, I always like to give my guests an opportunity to introduce themselves, just to give our viewers an idea of who you are. Le gore o rata eng, o passionate ka eng, o tetseng.
Jaconia Malunga. The best way to describe myself is that I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have interest in a wide range of sectors, from entertainment to research to publishing and to branding. As you can see, Zwakala here, an interface platform for township economy enterprises to corporate and the business community. I'm into research, definitely. I did economics at UB. I did a master's in business administration at the University of Botswana also. And I'm passionate about social enterprise. I'm passionate about social entrepreneurship, and Ignite Wealth and Masheleng magazine podcast is the place to be. I hope you get something out of this discussion. Thank you.
So Malunga, thank you so much for that. Before we start, the first thing that struck me in Ilakanya Yazwakala, what is that? Where is that coming from?
Zwakala means behead.
Yes.
Or cub.
Uh-huh.
So in us trying to create a bridge between our startups, our small medium enterprises, and the corporate world and the business community at large, we thought, what platform could we bring that really brings all these links together, all these layers of business together, realizing that the markets are dynamic and we live in a global world. So we thought, because we're interested in social entrepreneurship, what best way to do it than to say be heard? And who should be heard? The people who struggle the most, especially with information and financial literacy, are our startups and our people in the townships. Yes. So Zwakala is that platform that says, whatever we have, apart from assisting and helping each other with finance, can we share some knowledge? Can we share some experiences? Which I think Masheleng magazine podcast is about that. It's about financial literacy, because we can only sustain and be profitable by getting some knowledge.
Yes.
That's why we created Zwakala.
Yes.
And Masheleng, the place to be, to reach out and share those experiences.
Yeah, I'm thinking right now how we are the connecting the small micro enterprises, the informal sector, the business selling that are quite established. Because as a country, we are not really enterprising economy. Most of our people ga ba itse thata ka business yalo, but not necessarily so. We've always traded. It's only that we didn't have developed ways of trading. That's what I've always believed. Because growing up, I'm sure we used to have, astute businessmen in our communities. A ke ko kgaolong no gona le monna mogolo mongwe na thaba dikgomo a na le butchara, or you had a baker, go dirwa di-sconsela tse di tlhwaetseng tota, but go dirisiwa technology ya bogologolo, so how do I lebelela, fast forward 50 years later, you find all of those businesses are shut now. And they're not shut because the people did not identify or there's a need for a product and they created the product. They're shut because they did not have information of better ways of doing business. So is that what Zwakala is trying to put together to ensure those businesses are either revived or those selling or they are similar?
Yes, sir. In a way, in a big way, yes. That's the whole point, because it's about sharing information, but also sustaining the businesses. And you can only sustain when you understand your products, when you understand the market, when you understand your niche, whenever there is a niche. Because business is about targeting. It's about segmenting your market. It's about targeting and positioning your products and services in people's minds so that you signal good intention. And we buy products, remember, or we buy products because we get utility out of them. What's the difference between you getting a product from A and B but selling the same product? There is certain elements, there is certain aspects. We look at the service standard, the service level, the cleanliness and whatever. So you can't sell if you don't understand your product. And you can't sell and be profitable and be sustainable if you don't understand your market. So the point here is that Zwakala is bringing a bridge to say, let's share, let's document, let's learn, let's experience. There is nothing wrong about failing. In fact, there is nothing. I can share my story here. When I was doing my master's at UB, I got shocked when the results for the first part came, because I didn't do well in research, which surprisingly now, it's what has brought me here, in essence, in a big way, because I didn't do well in research, but amongst the students for my class, I was one of the best, maybe if not the best, because there was a gentleman who was really good in quantitative. Then I was good in qualitative, because I write, I'm a publisher. I've published 5 books on regulations and business, the business landscape in essence. So Zwakala is about bridging, about sharing experiences that enrich us from all levels, because we must remember, we also are interested in keeping our township economy thriving. So how can we do that? We can only do that by using the modern tools to keep ourselves informed, or to keep our businesses informed, and also the links that are relevant in terms of reducing risk, in terms of improving our trading systems and operations. And that's where the engagement of promoters in terms of product comes in. Because we must remember there are 5 aspects in terms of product marketing. It's the product. You know your product. You can only manufacture or produce a product because there is a need in the market. Surely you can't bring something to the market if you don't understand the need in the market. So the product, the pricing also has to be right, which means you are quite versed in terms of the pricing systems and the market needs, the supply and demand, the market forces. Then it's the product, the price, the place. Obviously, a product that sells well in Gaborone wouldn't sell that nicely maybe in Khainte or Mau. So you have to know your place, you have to know the trends, you have to know the behavior, the consumer behavior and trends and preferences. And then obviously the product, the price, the place, the people, and the promotion also has to adapt to new ways of doing business, as you averse to
Yes.
that. So,
Mr. Malunga,
yeah.
you know how real? Yeah, just this morning I was from the gym and I met one gentleman with the restroom.
Yeah.
Just after taking a shower. So it was very cold.
Yeah.
So this gentleman was complaining about ceramic.
Yeah.
So har le ba go di mo rithelele gore one of the fans
Yeah.
e bulegile, so gore gore there's a lot of cold air.
Amen.
It's an hour and a half. So he was looking at it, ke motho health conscious, and then he was like, kana homo ha go tsena go sna filter yana ga bora gore go tsena le role, it can actually affect us, you know. But everyone else was kind
okay,
of calm.
yeah.
You know how sometimes you find someone and then we are kind of calm.
Yeah.
So gore ke sala le ene mo restroomong, we are just having a chat. Polela gore no, he has stayed go UK for a couple of years.
Yes.
A trainer thing. So a tlhalosela gore, you know, the type of service that you get accustomed to, how you know, everything is always functioning, like the bus di na di tsamaya, mabaiti a teng a tswalega sente, di fenster di a tswalega, you know, like everything is functional.
Everything
Now,
is super perfect.
yeah, you come to Botswana,
Yeah.
you know, you have to accept mediocrity. You know, you settle for do tse di sa berekeng. Korle nako o ithala sengwe le sengwe se bereka, like you get shocked, like
get shocked,
is
yeah.
this a new thing? Is this building? So ha re bua be ke akanya gone gore kana, you know, one of the ways, and this comes to your point, you know, ya customer service.
Yeah.
One of the ways tse leng gore, you know, because batho ke di creatures tse leng gore they adopt to certain things and then they follow certain habits.
Yes.
Once ba, you know, so ha ile gore gongwe ba itse gore that restaurant, every time when you go there, you will always find this coffee and it never changes, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time we tell gore ba batla go nna ba ya teng kwa ile gore go na le consistency.
Yeah.
But ha ba itse gore restaurant ya gago it has good coffee, but sometimes you don't find it. Sometimes we tell our strong, sometimes we tell our light. Most of the time, they can't recommend friends because they don't know what let's actually we samba to thing ba tompera ba you know. And I just like that example because I feel for most of our local businesses selling or khadia ka di in the long run di bolailwe ke gone gore ba ne ba palwa ke gonna consistent. So when the chain stores, the big ones, they came because bonena bata with a consistent policy of marketing, of shelving, of doing all sorts of things. How so go shopong yele ko gaborone, how we tell ko phalapi we tell the same thing, how we tell ko bokete we tell the same thing. So I don't know from your research how to deal le tsone di local businesses, more especially those selling gore di heletse diwa. What are some of the reasons selling gore go no di bona o batho ba di bua gore ne le di kgwetlo tsene di le teng gore o bata ba ntshiwa get this big retailers gompieno?
I think for those that are in the business landscape, we understand there is mentorship.
Yes.
And then for those also, even those who are not in business, obviously we all know we need to be handheld at some point in time.
Yes.
For so many reasons. Sometimes, you know, that brings me to the issue of startups and small medium enterprises.
Yes.
I've experienced a situation where you find that most times when businesses are struggling, we quick to think about finance. That is the main issue. But sometimes finance is not the main issue.
Yes.
Finance is not necessarily the main issue for all businesses. So we tend to generalize most of them, which is wrong. So it can be finance, it can be administrative issues, it can be operational issues.
Yeah.
Yes. And then it can be the market environment or the business landscape in terms of the regulations that do not support businesses.
Yes.
And there's also the issue of credit, because most of our businesses lack collateral, maybe to get credit, to meet credit requirements from the big or giant resellers or wholesalers.
Yes.
For instance, without naming, drop a name, and wholesaler A could have certain credit requirements and also the timelines, 30-day credit, 60 days, 90 days credit. But our businesses are bound to default for one reason or another. Here I can quote a situation where you have a tuck shop in your corner, in your neighborhood corner. That gentleman or ladies used to certain levels of stock. They stock 2 TPs, toilet papers. They stock 2 slabs of margarine. They stock 2 bales of whatever,
Yes.
But then if you throw money at them, you are putting them in trouble because money comes with interest, and interest is a cost to business. So sometimes we tend to get into loans that really end up getting our businesses into a corner.
Yes.
And the issue of credit and the issue of mentorship, I think those are big issues apart from the others. But obviously finance is a big issue. Capital depends on the level of business we are in. If it's a small enterprise, it may depend on the line of the products or service they're offering. So finance may not always be the issue.
Yes.
But then again, capital is quite a big issue because I think our systems do not allow our enterprises to survive on their own. They're always caught up in a vicious cycle of credit, of dikoloto. So such that they're always servicing dikoloto over a long period of time, which kills the sustainability and the profitability. And also, I think, I don't know if it's part of our culture. I could be wrong on this one, because most of the time we are not much into collaborative efforts.
Yes.
Lately, I think we have all observed banks trying to push Maboro Dinku, trying to push Metelo kind of setups.
Yes.
Because, traditionally we have our cooperatives which served that.
Yes.
But then, I don't know, I don't want to say they have fallen. I don't want to say that. But then we've seen the banks pushing that. So I hope in the future, in the near future, there could be a bridge that bridges that.
I think that is very key, because when you speak about financial literacy, and we, in all of our conversations, we always try to get to a point where we associate the problems that we are having as a community to failure to understand finances, right? Because you look at you have such so many examples. You have spoken about finance not always being an issue for businesses. There's a toolkit that we use normally when we are dealing with startups and very, very small businesses, the informal sector, and all, even businesses which are growing, which basically takes an entrepreneur through a template that asks them questions of where their business is. And then after finding out where their business is, then there will be different financing options. Certain businesses, the option will be get money from friends, get money from people, from your family, because the banks will not touch you, because there's no reason why. Right now, everybody wants to go to CEDA. Everybody wants to go to the banks, but they don't know that they feel like maybe CEDA doesn't want to help, or the banks don't want to help. But the thing is, where they are in business, those institutions cannot entertain them, because they have a certain policy and a certain way of doing things, right? But because of the lack of this understanding, and I think maybe the likes of your CEDAs and the banks should do more in terms of going out there and saying, look, if you are at the stage, we don't touch you at all. And they have to be vocal about it, so that because the idea of always thinking that you might get funding from a bank, when you get disappointed, there's a serious mental breakdown that happens.
Just like in writing. Writer's block.
Writer's block. And then you are like, man, banks can't help. What can I do, right? But once you know that, look, I can't get funding between year one and this particular year. If I'm going to get funding, I need to look to a friend and say, Mr. Malunga, look, I have this model. I know that you are working. Do you think you can give me 10,000, 20,000? And it shouldn't come as a friendly gesture. You need to get there and actually give him a proposal and say, look, this is how I'm going to make money. right? I'll be able to make profits from this point, and I'll be able to pay you back from this point, right? If we can do that, there's money everywhere, right? The problem is that sometimes we don't know what to say, who to approach, and how to approach them, right? And you've said another example regarding businesses, the older generation business, which is something that I was asking also on your research, speaking to businesses that have shut down, right? Because I know that there were very, very successful businesses back in the day, but they did not go down because your large retailer came through. They went down because the money was not used well. They went down because the money was not used well. They were making so much money, but they continued to produce at the same level, right? Like you were giving example of someone who stocks the sugar pedi or majarine ala mararo. Even when you are making a lot of money, you still want to do the same thing. You are not thinking expanding. You are not thinking all of those things. Mr. Malunga, we are going to go for a quick ad break. Hareboa, ke batla re re tsene in the core of our discussion for today. I guess.
Yes,
If you're just joining us now, we are having a discussion around products. We are having a discussion around marketing. We are having a discussion around entrepreneurship. Ke na le Mr. Malunga o e leng gore wa re thusa gore re kgone gore re tshwate kganye o ska wa suta. Hi, I have a free gift for you. If you want to claim this gift, go to www.masheleng.online/gift. In this gift, you will learn how to become financially free in 5 years or less. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Ra go amogela gape mo Masheleng Money Podcast. Ke na le Mr. Malunga. If you're just joining us now, re bua ka product marketing. We are talking about entrepreneurship. Mr. Malunga, very, very interesting discussions that we had before the break. So, ke batla re bua ka product marketing. Mongwe le mongwe o batla go ntsha product ya gagwe a ise go batho e phatalle go batho. It could be a corporate, it could be a small business, jalo jalo. Me o ithalele gore nako nngwe ha gongwe re dirisa ditsela tse di harologaneng tota tsa go ntsha molaetsa. Nako nngwe o dirisa billboard, nako nngwe o dirisa social media, nako nngwe o kopa batho gore ba go advertise mo bidiwang gote influencers yalo. Me go mo nako nngwe o ithalele gore ga go tsale madi dio tse di bakwa keng, Mr. Malunga?
Thank you again for having me on the show. Well, there's so many reasons to that. But I think this is to say gore batho ba reng in business matters. Because I get social batho ba ta reng I get the dupa whatever.
Yes.
We care, that's social status, but business is serious. Because business re bua ka madi and re bua ka investment. Kana we must remember so santle ke gore investment wa bo postpone monato wa gompieno, that satisfaction now for tomorrow. Absolutely. And the hope is that there is growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But as you have already said, betlale means ya go ka ga samoletsa ka product ya gago. But the most important thing is the relevance ya product. Because I mean, surely how producer a product or a market however. Because we must remember in economics, supply and demand.
Yes.
And the kind of how venture into business.
Yes.
Not only matselo but matselo aba bereki to the value chain across the economy.
Yes.
The supplier, the producer, both the packaging company, and then the economy at large, obviously the GDP.
Yes.
So here in the context of Botswana, for a long time, import substitution.
Yes.
Import our manufacturing base, our production base.
Yes.
So we need a product, but a product that's relevant. So product is relevant. How customer also social media, especially Facebook.
Yeah.
The value, the mileage you get from every puller you spend. 500 puller one hello, Mr. Malunga Turuzwakala. So I can Masheleng magazine you go fairground, go the office building. So what out of that?
Yes.
So from here got the social media influencers in particular. You have to understand their product themselves, them as a product already, as a brand. So that brand must speak to your brand because we have values, business in a culture, in a the values in a image. So surely you can't contract the motor, a bad vibe or image. They can hurt your brand, obviously, and you don't want that. And also, when I'm more targeting, I get how market owns are going to get the t-shirt, t-shirt. It's one to segment the market. Kids are these t-shirts meant for the just recently graduated young men between 25 and 35? What are his attributes? What are his preferences? What are the trends in the global market? Because we're living in a global landscape. So from there, we can engage someone, reach or mileage. Me
ana go mpolelle Mr. Malunga, go mo ithela go confuse ke. Mo Botswana, as a country, I think we have an obsession about likes and followers. Kana tota hela gantsi ba go te influencer ga go toa motho eleng gore o kgona go hetoa maikutlo a batho kana ka batho ba ntse ba le ba dilo ka teng a influence and most of batho ba eleng gore they have a large following, they do have influence, right? Mo bathong ba eleng gore ba ba sala morago. But like o bua, it depends gore what type of influence. Some people are pornographic. So they are influencing people sexually. So they will have 4 million followers. It's a big following, right? So how Masheleng in Ignite World wants to advertise, am I going for that person? Because I'm going to be reaching out to 4 million people, right? Motho mongwe maybe ke a musician. Ke motho eleng gore wow pela o ratiwa ke batho o na le di like tse dintsi le batho ile gore ba mo follow batho ba mo follow ke batho ile gore ba rata entertainment, and chances are if you were maybe to diagnose the followers, you will find gore ha gongwe ke batho ba ile gore 90% of them are unemployed, and when you are pushing a product that needs somebody who can actually get a loan from a formal sector, a khona go tsa loan a ba khona re ta reka product ya gago. But I think mo Botswana hela we are just obsessed about the like. Ya ne ke batla go botsa go se Mr. Malunga gore what is wrong with picking like how things used to be done in the past before this thing of people with so many likes, where you pick someone gongor o bona Mr. Malunga botsa Mr. Malunga ele motho eleng gore no wa itse gore ke motho o itshwarang sente o dirile se mme a se gore ke motho influential ga mole, and then you build Mr. Malunga mo branding ba gago. Like you know how brands used to do it in the past.
Yes.
Some random person just comes up ga re mo itse gore o tswa ko kae, and then ba simolla bone they build that person a ba mo dira ambassador ya brand. Every time how bona that person, you see that company. But with today, with influencers, today they are with this person. Come line, they are with another person. I get to home the brand the bakile more especially your corporates, because bonnet are very, very sensitive and they need to be very clear about who they want to associate with, and ha ba batle disruption ya gore ka moso ba se thola bana le wena o le go sele o le ko competitoring and stuff like that. Yes.
I think on that one, this is really a quite interesting one, perspectively, because if you look at our society, Botswana in particular, we are quite a conservative society.
Yes.
I think we are. We are consensus orientated, for a lack of a better word, but without trying to offend anyone.
Yeah.
For that quota mentality, consensus in. And then again, we are living in a different age.
Yes.
Yeah. We're always chasing time. We are pressed for time.
Yeah.
And then on the issue of building our own brand ambassador, I think it's the issue of us not being willing to invest in raw talent.
Yes.
Because it could be a former athlete without much following on Facebook.
Yes.
But we can build that and just drum that up and build that.
Yes.
But then coming to those who have following, I think we live on social media. We do live on social media. I think on this one, we can all agree that we have probably 2-3 phones at a time, and our lives revolve around social media, which brings us to the issue of following. So in terms of business and in terms of finance and in terms of that puller, you have to ask yourself, if I engage Zwakala for 500 puller, for a mere mention, how much impact is that mention making? Because here we have to understand there is the issue of niche and target. Your target market is what you have in mind when you produce your product, right? But your niche is what you can pick from those 800,000 followers. There could be 10 potential buyers. So our interest should be on the buyers. Our interest should be on the conversion. At least we must justify, or the promoter must justify by showing us numbers. It's a numbers game. There is no point in having 850 followers and converting none. So at least we must have some kind of conversion. We must have some kind of measure. We must have some kind of conformance level to justify that puller. Because money is expensive. I mean, in the end, money is expensive.
Yes.
I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've been in sales for a very long time. So we believe Tata in the Pareto rule, right? Out of their attempted it's 100, you are probably going to convert 20, and then 80 and that is very true, right? That is very true. But nakung ke na le go lebella on social media, and then I be lebella the conversion rates. So you find someone puts out a post that will reach 100,000 people, and then it will have 20,000 likes, right? Because the Pareto rule applies even on social media, right? And then there will be 20,000 likes, and then from the 20,000 likes, there will be about 4,000 maybe comments and stuff like that, which is still another 20%, right? And then I want another 20% that will share again. And then now where it does not connect, it's now on the people that buy, because we are expecting, or maybe from the 20,000 clicks, we should be having at least 4,000 they will inquire, just to inquire, right? From the office. And then from the 4,000 that inquires, 20% of that 4,000 will actually be converted to potential hot pipeline. I get it. And then from that 20%, we expect 20% to be converted. Right? So how do I label we tell people are more concerned about they look at likes as if it's a pipeline. Right? But it's far from pipeline. Because I get if you're using a furnace, right? So if you are getting 100,000 people who have been reached, 20,000 people who have liked, and then you don't convert a single deal, right? Then you need to redefine why you are paying the influencer.
Yes.
Because I've always believed there are two things that we can be looking for. One, we are looking for conversion, business,
yes.
or we're just looking for visibility.
Yes.
If it's visibility, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
But a lot of people get it wrong.
Yeah.
They go for conversion, but they're looking for someone who gives them visibility.
Yes.
You see?
That one actually is interesting because you have brands that are already there that don't need
they don't need
the
visibility.
conversion. They don't need to pressure anyone to for lack of a better word, pressure from a peer pressure kind of view. Without mentioning names.
Yeah.
ABC retail. So one is looking for visibility. They are obviously a big brand that's there. It doesn't need to bring out any. It doesn't need to invest much in terms of marketing, promotions, and advertising. Then you have one who needs those conversions. But how do we justify? What instrument can we have that shows for both the seller and the promoter to say, here we are, can we improve? An instrument that really just shows the mileage, that shows the conversion in terms of puller spend.
Yes.
You know, pay. It also depends on the kind of engagements. I mean, in terms of the promotions, in terms of the campaigns, it depends also in terms of the market also, definitely. And also the adaptation to changes. I mean, like now, if we talk about the issue of fuel, for instance, if you are going to engage someone for a campaign that ends up irritating your target or your niche, you are bound to fall off, to lose in terms of your brand enticement, in terms of your brand signaling good intention. Also for corporates, we must remember there is the issue of corporate social responsibility. So you don't want to hurt your image. So I think it's time where we need an instrument to be able to be shown that I invested so much. Can you show me the mileage? And then from both ends, really from both ends, so that we can have a middle.
The ROI, absolutely.
Yeah, your return on investment.
Mr. Malunga, I wanted us to just in a minute or two, the Reforms Digest Botswana, this book, Mr. Malunga. Mr. Malunga. It's book number 6.
Yes, it's book number 6.
So more what message are you putting out there, Mr. Malunga?
I think in essence, what we all are aware of is that the president has said in his speeches, in whatever forums, that we need to transform. He has said we need to reset. But within resetting, we need to reform. And reforms can be legislative or regulatory. So that book addresses that in essence, sector per sector, industry by industry. And also we must remember Botswana is a member of trading blocs like your SACUS, your SADC. So in us reforming, we have to be looking at the wider range of legislation, agreements, bilateral investment treaties and whatever. And bring ourselves to a level where we can be globally competitive, where we can sustain our businesses. And remember, Zwakale is about township enterprises. I won't forget that. Linking them with corporates for sustainability and profitability. And we are bringing up an instrument, the value aggregate rate instrument, for us to help our people to stay afloat, be profitable. Zaka, Chara, my dear, let that puller work for you. Let's keep going.
Masheleng. Mr. Malunga, thank you for making time. Our conversation was quite short because I feel like there's a lot of content to be exploited there. But the sessions so that we can expand more on it And then also on Joanna, we do monthly seminars where we engage with entrepreneurs, young people, students, and just community leaders. A share the idea in an unfiltered way. You know, because we need to resolve our own problems, and the best way to do that re tsaya dikgang jaana mongwe ga re bua yana o re editse sengwe o sela sengwe o kgona go change ka dirang dilo ka teng yaanong batho ba batla go ikopanya le wena Mr Malunga gore ba kgone gore ba bone buka or any other of your services ba ka go tshwara go kae.
For the buka le ka di bona ko Dr. Maeda ko Bordergate Mall ko Tlokweng. They are also available from Zwakala on 71768 and then email address kemalunga malunga.tariq@gmail.com. Thank you,
Mr. Malunga. Thank you so much again for being with us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
All right.
Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned so much from this episode. And if you want to engage with us or for collaborations, please call us at 3950026, 3950026, or visit our social media pages at Ignite Wealth or the Masheleng magazine. See you on the next episode. Good evening.
Hi, I have a free gift for you. If you want to claim this gift, go to www.masheleng.online/gift. In this gift, you will learn how to become financially free in 5 years or less.